Hi, welcome to the Chronic Health Collective. This isn't just a community, it's your fresh start. We've gathered the best coaches and experts to help you reclaim your energy, heal from the inside out, and live with purpose. Whether you're longing for more energy, more profound healing in your relationships, or a life that feels more aligned and fulfilling, you're not alone anymore. Let's rise together. I'm Amanda Beth Johnson, your Chronic Health Collective host tonight, and we are joined by Candace McKim. Candace
Hi.
McKim, yeah. Candace is an intuitive manifestation coach, TEDx speaker, and #1 international best-selling author who helps soul-led women entrepreneurs rapidly grow their business income in a sustainable and aligned way. As the founder of Manifestation Magic, she guides clients to reach their next income level with ease and consistency without hustle or burnout. Candace's strategies empower women to build businesses rooted in purpose and prosperity. Her work bridges intuition and aligned action, offering a clear path to lasting success and greater impact. So good to have you, Candace.
Thanks. Thanks for having me here. I'm excited to be on this side today.
I love having you on the other side too.
It's fun.
Yes. So this month, Chronic Health Collective, we've been focusing on milestones. And so we're just going to go a little deeper with that, and milestones are not just the markers, they're manifestation proof. So how do you define what a milestone is when it comes to manifestations?
Well, for me, milestones are evidence that you're in alignment, that the universe is showing you that your energy is working and the alignment is working and it's paying off. Even when I'm doing mindset work with my clients, when I talk about trying to shift any mindset issues, we need to build the evidence up. We need to build the evidence up that it's working or it isn't working. So an example would be, so if we have the mindset that it's never going to work out, right? And so, and it keeps getting reinforced because you have the thought, you have the belief, and it keeps happening. Like you have the evidence, right? And it keeps building up. But when you shift it, when you shift your mindset and you shift it to, oh, maybe this will work out. This will work out. Yes, it's going to work out. Then you start to act differently. Your behaviors change. You start to take action, take movement, and then the evidence builds up to reinforce the new belief. So this is the same thing with manifestation. It's just this reminder that, yeah, it really is working and that the universe is listening and, it's coming to you. And it just is that proof that what you desire is already in motion, that it's happening.
And I think that so many people get hung up on manifesting those really big things.
Yeah.
And they forget about all the steps that go in there. And I think that makes them just they overlook all the little milestones. I know when I work with folks and we talk about that whole gratitude thing and being grateful for the tiny things and the positivity, how does that work in the manifestation too? Looking for those smaller things to see that the milestones are in their journey.
Well, I think so many of us are really focused on the big things. But I think to actually accomplish the big things, you need to celebrate all the little things along the way. Because if you're only focusing on the big things, so I have accomplished big things in my career. And when I look back to it, it wasn't when I got there that was the big celebration. It was all of the celebrations along the way. So like writing a book, right? When I get a chapter done, when I got it written in its raw form, that was a celebration. When the editor went through it and I did my first, I had to rewrite it and do my first couple edits. When I sent it and you click the button, it's like, it's a celebration. And you need to celebrate all those things to keep going. Because if I was just focused on writing a book, I would never have gotten it done without all the celebrations, without all the wins along the way. Does that make sense? Like it does, you know, if you don't celebrate all the things that you're doing along the way, then I feel like people, if they don't do it, then they aren't doing the big things.
Oh, and yeah, absolutely. And I think that that goes to, just looking at, taking the big task and, like you
Mhm.
said, writing a book and
Yeah.
breaking it down into the chapters,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
celebrating each chapter that you finish. I'm working on my next book now too. And
Yeah.
yes, when you hit that send button of, okay, someone else's turn to look at it, and
Yeah.
accomplishing that, and then it's like,
Mhm.
okay, who's the list of besties that I can
And
call and say yes.
yes,
Um,
exactly. And I didn't write my book in chronological order, you know, like I didn't write it that way. I wrote it all over the place. And so then I had to bring it back together. And, you know, and I think about how many times I called my sister and said, yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And the first time she got really alarmed. Oh my God, you have to. You've been working so hard on this. Like, and she got alarmed. And then it became almost a pattern, right? Nope, not doing it. Yes, you are. Get back at it, you know?
but I think that the smaller things, and a lot of the work that I do with people, I talk more about the gratitude of it and the positivity of it.
Yeah.
But it does bring into that whole manifestation of your mindset clearly does make it what you're working toward. You
Yeah,
don't just go to the gym one day and come out buff, or
exactly.
we'd all be fit as a fiddle.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
lifestyle.
so looking at that, so do you help how do you help folks create that momentum to be able to see those little things and to help them to celebrate the bigger things coming in down their way?
Yeah, so with my work, I have a manifestation magic process, and so an example would be one of my clients. Um, she signed up to do my mentorship, and it's a big expense, right? And this happens to a lot of us. Once we start to hesitate, right? Like once you sign up with a coach, like how many of us, as soon as you sign up with the coach, you go, ah.
Oh, that buyer's remorse of like, oh, what did I really get
Oh,
into? I want the
but
end, but gosh, seeing
yeah,
those pieces.
yeah. And so, but you got the intuitive hit. You got the hell yes earlier, right? You got the intuitive hit to reach out to this person, to jump on a call with them. You know in your soul that it's going to take your business to that next level, or take you towards those milestones that you really want to achieve. And so I had this one client, Sherry, and she signed up and then immediately went into the buyer's remorse. So we jumped on a call, and I celebrated with her. I said, I think it's really important to take a moment to celebrate that you have said yes to you. You said yes to your business. You said yes to your purpose, to your greater milestones that are ahead of you, and really take this moment to celebrate. And so she did. And then that night, she had somebody sign up for her coaching program. But the thing is that she didn't just have somebody sign up that night, because this actually happens a lot. As soon as anybody hires me, or they, sign up for a call, or, things start to move. But not only did they sign up with her, but they signed up directly from her website. She'd never had anybody sign up directly from her website before. And they paid in full. She'd never had anybody pay in full before. And she's like, holy cow, let's make this happen. Then she's like, and I'm like, yeah, hold on, because we're going. Right. And yeah, it was amazing. And so just shifting that energy, like not the buyer's remorse, but oh yeah, this is something to celebrate because I am moving into that next level. Yeah.
And I think that is so important, and to on and those days, coming out of July and August, everyone was really, really tired. And coming into September, I think everyone's going, oh, it's like, no, celebrate all the little things, and finding those tiniest little things that are sparks. And as you start looking for the progress, as you start looking for the things that you've completed, no, it's not the big goal yet, but they're
Yeah.
all the little things to put in space. Do you think it's helpful for people to write out all of the steps, or is it more of going back through and racking up the milestones of like, oh yeah, that happened and that happened.
Oh, I think it's important to celebrate them along the way, but no, I don't think that you can. I don't even think it's possible to write them all out. I like to look at it as like a river, right? You're on one side of the river and you want to get to the other side of the river, and you can see a couple rocks here, and so you just take a step onto one rock, and then you go, "Yay, I made it! I didn't slip off." And then you jump onto the next rock. "Yay, I did it! I didn't slip off." And then you see, and you're like, okay, what's the next best rock to jump onto? And then you go, okay, I might get a little wet if I jump onto that one, but it might get me there a little faster, or, like you make the decisions along the way. And then, yeah, you might slip in a little bit, and then you have to pull yourself out and jump onto the other rock or jump onto a different rock. But it's like, you can't map it all out before you start. I don't believe you can.
I don't think so either. I think, but it's just acknowledging that everything comes in a step or in a process, and it doesn't all happen at once. And keeping that manifestation journal or book of the things you're shooting for, but not ignoring all the little joys and celebrate all the little things, all those little milestones that come along the way that build that journey in the end, or build that destination of the end there. So.
Because we don't know how it is going to all happen. Like, that's where people get caught up, is they don't know how. Like, I didn't know how, when I started a book, how to self-publish a book. I didn't know anything about it. I started creating my deck of oracle cards while I was teaching yoga. I had a yoga studio for 17 years, and I would get intuitive hits as to what the yoga postures meant on a spiritual level. So I would be like, okay, that's what that means. And I would just write notes, right? And I had this notebook filled with notes of what it was. I didn't even know I was going to write a book. In fact, I remember coming back from India. I had sold my yoga studio and I'd raised $20,000 for victims of sex trafficking in India. So I went to India to see where the money was going. I did a spiritual pilgrimage. I came back, and my dad and my mom met me at the airport for dinner. And my dad said, maybe you'll write a book after this experience. And I'm like, oh, no. Not me. That's, other people. And then my yoga studio was sold, and I went through a real dark night of the soul. And what brought me out was digging into my oracle cards. And then as I was writing my oracle cards, I thought, I knew, I got the intuitive hit. Oh, there's a book here. And so, you just start. You just have to start, and then it guides you.
And I think that, and as I was writing my book and everyone's like, oh, good. The number of people who write a book, but they don't ever publish it. So knowing that we've achieved that mark of publishing it, and books aren't born before their time. That's why we have notebooks and journals and sticky notes and voice messages here and there until they come together and they're ready to be birthed into a whole book or a deck of oracle cards. And so I think it's really important to remind everyone that these things, they evolve into what they are. I mean, we plan to do something big, but you never knew how big all those little sketches and ideas would become. Yeah. But you celebrated each one that you got and acknowledging those hits, because that's another thing. That's one of the things I work with people, is learning how to identify you're getting a hit. It's something you need to pay attention to.
Yeah, yeah, before you get knocked on the head.
Right, because those knocks on the head those are pretty tough ones. But also, going through that, your dark night of the soul, I think, is also how a lot of people realize that they are so much more than their journey.
Yes. Yes.
And being able to find their way back out of that.
Yeah. And there was no right or wrong. Like, it wasn't a mistake to sell my yoga studio, though it wouldn't have been a mistake if I had kept it either. But I just got the intuitive hit to sell it. So if I had kept it, I had a beautiful community. I had a space to see clients. I had a space to do workshops. It was a really great place. I've been running it for 17 years. There's no mistake wouldn't have been any mistake in keeping it. But then following the intuitive hit of selling it, it led me into so much more in my life, so many more milestones that came to me. Some of them came very quickly, very, very quickly.
And I think that kind of talks to the whole mindset that you were talking about a little bit ago, is getting yourself into that more positive mindset so that you can receive these things. That negativity, boy, you just block the whole world there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and any other really big things that are key to move out of that negativity, other than just knowing it's so much better on the other side?
So I feel like our vibration, when we're in negativity, we can't connect to our intuition. We can't connect to source energy. We can't connect to, the higher vibration. And again, like, I don't really call it negativity. I call it like a powerful mindset or a suffering mindset. And when we're in the suffering mindset, that, there's lessons there. There's great lessons there. Like when I was in the dark night of the soul, like I felt, because what I had seen in India and the girls that had been trafficked. And I just remember standing at the kitchen sink one day and my husband said, "Does it feel hopeless?" And I said, yeah, it did. Like, yeah, I raised 20,000. Collectively, we raised almost $1 million. It went to a lot of organizations in India to help this horrific, trafficking. It still feels hopeless, And so there's a lot of lessons there. There's a lot of growth in the lower vibration. But when you're in the higher vibration, that's when you connect to source. That's when you connect to intuition. That's when you connect to your creativity, and things start to happen faster and faster.
All right. I think we are about ready to go to our first commercial break, and we will be back. And we're going to talk about money, love, speed when we get back.
Are you ready to finally unlock your biggest dreams and live the life you've always wanted? I'm Candace McKim, and I invite you to join me in the manifestation magic process. Whether you're dreaming of that perfect business, financial freedom, or more joy in your life, it's all possible. With manifestation magic, you'll shatter common misconceptions that keep holding you back, learn the secrets of attracting your deepest desires, and activate the magic of sacred synchronicity. Head to CandaceMcKim.com and start creating the life of your dreams today.
An empowered life has no expiration date. We're all created to do incredible things, like conquer summits, catch big waves, and live our passions. As time goes on, our bodies begin to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Our energy levels decline, sleep patterns shift, and recovery slows. But our bodies are masterpieces of design, holding the potential to bounce back better than ever. With X39, we achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and regenerative science that others could not. By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHKCU, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, which requires external light sources, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality, enhancing the body's flow of natural energy. For improvements in strength, stamina, performance, and overall health and well-being, with the simplicity of an affordable, non-invasive, non-transdermal patch. As we age, levels of these life-enhancing elements, which are associated with wellness and longevity, begin to decline. LifeWave invested 10 years into stem cell research, which resulted in over 70 patents. X39 was born to bring to the public a product that could support wellness in an entirely new way, supporting the production of younger, healthier cells with wearable light technology. Becoming a powerhouse is easier than you think. Harness your body's natural potential to maintain youthful energy and vitality, because life comes at you fast, but it doesn't have to pass you by. Live long, live well, live young. Be the light with LifeWave X39. LifeWave.
Welcome back, Chronic Health Collective. So the month of September, we've been celebrating milestones, and I'm joined with Candace McKim, manifestation coach, and we are talking about those milestones. So Candace, you often say that money loves speed. How does this apply in hitting milestones? And maybe discuss a little bit more about what that means to everyone.
Yeah, money loves speed, manifestation loves speed. We are the ones who put all the limitations on it. We are the ones who put the limitations that it's going to do. Like we create 5-year plans, we create 3-year plans. I'm going to start my business now, but I know I'm not going to make any money in the first 6 months, or I'm not going to make any money on the first year. We tell ourselves this all the time. So that's what happens, right? That's what manifests then. And so when we get out of that idea that it's going to take a long time, it's going to be hard work, I have to have these certain things to make it happen. When we just get into that flow and just stop putting those limitations on it, that's when everything comes down, right? And energy doesn't work on a calendar. Energy makes things happen. So when we're talking about milestones today. So when we were talking about my book, it was in the final edit of my book. And so my sister was with me in one chair, and she had the hard copy of the book, and I was in another chair. We sat side by side, and I had my computer, and we're reading through the book, the final edit, and it was coming out in 5 months or five months later or something. And so we're going through it, and she stops me and she goes, "You should do a TED Talk on this subject." And I looked at her and started laughing. I said, "Yes, I should do a TED Talk on that subject." So I pulled up my computer, wrote down TED Talks on the top of a document, and wrote down the topic idea. Throughout the weekend, we read through the book. She did it 2 more times. I closed my computer, I closed the document, and never even thought about it again. 5 months later, I was asked to do a TEDx talk. Like, you can't make this shit up. Right? I never applied. Like, people say to me, "Did you do an application? How did you get a TED Talk?" And I'm like, I don't know. A guy emailed me and asked me if I wanted to do one, and I said yes. And like, that was it. And I was so scared. I never told anybody. I told my sister, of course, and I told my family, but I never told anybody. I never did tell people. I got outed because I was advertised as being one of the speakers for a TEDx talk, like on social media. And so we know people are that are, they have businesses, they have soul-led businesses, and they'd like to do a TED Talk. And they're like, "Okay, I'm going to start doing speaking engagements, and in this year, I'm going to do a TEDx." No, it doesn't work that way. Why are you, it can work that way, but why put those limitations on it? Why not just open a document up and go TED Talk subject? I thought it was a joke. I thought my sister was joking.
I put it on my list of speaking engagements that I want, and a TED Talk was one of the top ones on the list. And I did have the opportunity to apply for one, and that it's a process. It's a process. So
yeah.
I was not selected, but they had 70 applicants, and they only had room for 10 or 12 people.
Yeah.
So it was a tough one there, but doesn't mean I'll never apply again. And
no, it doesn't mean that it won't just happen,
Yeah, because it's on my list. It's still on my list. I didn't take it off my list. And maybe that's also, not being shot down when something doesn't come through the way you think it should.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think that's the universe telling us, "Not today, girl. Not today, maybe tomorrow." There's that divine timing and being in alignment with that. And so there's that whole alignment piece of being aligned with your goals, what you're manifesting, and how that applies to milestones.
Yeah. And having your energy aligned with it. And I believe we actually can quantum leap into what it is that we're wanting by having the right alignment and clearing us out, keeping ourselves in that higher vibration. When we move into the lower vibration, which is life, it's life that we move into the lower vibration. It's not that we don't ever go there, and right. Like, I got a delivery yesterday, and none of it was right. It was annoying. It's annoying, right? And was a little annoyed by it. But so there's a lower vibration, but it doesn't mean that we need to stay there for days and hours and weeks. And
Oh, right. And I've had people tell me, "Oh, that's toxic positivity." And it's like, well, I work for the positivity. I promote the positivity. And yes, there are days that I have that absolutely stink. They're not days I want to repeat. And I look at those days and I pinpoint, what is the lesson? What did I need to know, to review, to learn about this so that it can pass? Letting those emotions come up, feel them, process them, and send them on their way.
Yeah, or sometimes it's just shaking it off, like doing the practices, right? Like going for a walk. That's what I did today. I just, went or after I got that delivery, right? Go for a walk, get it off, shake it off, go, I can deal with this, right? And then you change your energy, change your vibration.
Right.
Yeah. And, the whole toxic positivity, I think there are people that are more positive than other people. And I remember I was teaching a chakra therapy training, and I had, it was a huge group, one of my biggest groups I ever taught. I think there was over almost 100 people at this training. And I had seen one of the people the day before, or a couple days before, and I'd gone to her house. She was I was dropping some papers off to her or something, and and then she gave me a bunch of vegetables. And I got the vegetables. I was in the car, and I'm like, isn't this amazing? Don't you just love your life? Because these vegetables, and how great it was that we had to chat and stuff before the course. And she looked at me and she's like, yes, it is. Right. And so then at the course, I'm very positive. And there was one woman in particular that she actually has hired me since, but wasn't really buying into the positivity, the toxic positivity. Is that the word you use? Toxic? Is that what you said?
Toxic positivity is what someone said. Yeah.
Positivity. Yeah. And the other woman, she stood up. We were in a big circle, and she stood up and she goes, she's actually like this all the time. And then she told the story. She told the story about me coming in and getting vegetables and how much I love my life, because she gave me all this, this vehicle full of vegetables. And then this other woman, like I said, she took this training, and then she has since hired me to coach her because I do think some of us are more positive than other people. And also I do think that lower vibration energy can become a bit of a habit, or it's maybe around you, like it's around you. So then as empaths, we pick up on it a lot. And so then it's like, how do we protect ourselves? How do we shake it off? How do we get rid of other people's negativity?
Yes. And not defining. And then, especially when you're in relationships with people and you're more closely connected to them, being an empath, it's so much harder to decide. Am I upset? Is this really my stuff, or is this their stuff?
Yeah.
And knowing when to do that. And David Hawkins has done so much work in that whole vibrational level. I mean, he's put numbers to it. And and I know when I, went through my healing process and did my transformation, coming out of the negative environments, and I was a pretty negative person, I will give you that. And being able to see that, to acknowledge that, and to know that you can move out of it. And now if I go back around some of the people who used to be in my old circles, it's like, oh, we're going to do our business here and we're going to go on about our way, because that vibration does, and you attract where you're at. And so if your vibrations are much higher, you're going to attract those people, or the people who want to be more like you and hire you. So that's awesome.
And then you might find yourself in a situation and you feel yourself reverting back, and you go, oh, whoa, I know, I live in Canada. And so I was, in a high vibe space most of the time. I had a yoga studio, all that stuff. And then I would get in the hockey rink, and
I love hockey.
I would when we were away at a game, and then somebody, really hurt my son. It was like, oh. I'm like, who is this person coming out? And at one point I had to go sit in the car. I'm like, ooh, I can't be around this energy either. Like, it wasn't always just me. Sometimes it was the other people in the, the other parents. And I'm like, I got to go shake this off. And I went
Yes.
one day.
I think the first time I realized the effect of that whole mass conscious vibrational level was my daughter's graduation. I was so happy, she's going through life, she's going to be graduating, she's going on to bigger things. And I'm sitting there in the crowd at graduation, and I'm just such a happy mom. And then all of a sudden I needed a whole box of Kleenexes because everybody else there was, and the feelings in the crowd were not that of, they weren't happy tears, and it's like, oh,
Right.
yeah, we gotta move on down the road to the party.
Yeah.
Right. It does bring you down. So, and so back to this whole, the money, love, speed thing. Where does the speed of that come in, that fastness?
So again, it's just shifting, just making a few shifts that, that without putting limitations on ourselves, that it's going to take a long time. I had another client, Jade, and she signed up with me, and I actually have her testimonial on my website, because she started with my coaching program, and she signed up with me, and she, again, didn't know how she was going to pay for it. She actually said, I don't even know how I'm going to feed my kids this month, like, honestly, because I've signed up, and I don't want clients that are in that place, right? And so she manifested again a couple clients right away, and she's like, okay, I can breathe. And then we had our first coaching program, and we started talking strategies and bringing in manifestation strategies along with some business strategies. And that combination, she manifested 42K in the first 4 weeks of working together, 42K. And then within months, she had manifested like 76K. And it's like, because when we clear out and we open up to it and we're like, yeah, I'm doing this stuff. I mean, it's not like she just snapped her fingers and it appeared. She had to do the things, right? She had to get onto the sales calls. She had to do the, but she already had, like, we just shifted a little bit of her strategies, business strategies with manifestation strategies, right? And brought those together, because this is what I've been doing is, so because I've been an entrepreneur my whole career, basically, this is what I've been doing is the last 10 years is marrying together business strategies with intuition, with manifestation process. Because what I found is there were so many amazing, talented healers, energy workers, coaches that just weren't making the income or the impact that they really needed and really desired and really should be making. And so I thought, okay, well, I've had a successful yoga studio for 17 years. I've had a successful coaching business. Like, what am I doing? How am I using this manifestation process with the combination? Because I've done so much business training, right, along the way, with the business strategies that don't often work for us energetic people. Those business strategies.
They don't. It is a very different process.
I know, like, how many people have hired the dude, right, and their income plummeted?
Right.
Right. And so I've taken the dude's strategies, not the dude, taken it from him, but they are business strategies, but marrying it together with manifestation, with intuition, with our cycles. And then that's how we get out of the hole. It's going to take a long time. And then money likes speed. It likes clear energy, clear attraction. And so many of us have money stories, especially us as women. We have so many lifetimes of stories of limitations and for our financial goals. And it's like, let's clear some of that out. And a lot of my clients know that they're stuck financially, that there's a financial ceiling there that they're stuck at. And so it's clearing that out.
Yeah, seeing that ceiling and, working with, and in the spiritual world, most of that is women entrepreneurs. There are some men who join in as well. And I see so much of that, the energy that's put into the business and being able to clear that energy so that the business can grow. It's huge. And it's, looking at, kind of that perfectionism energy when people are starting those new businesses. They don't want to send it out until it's perfect. And it's like, no, you got to birth this business. You got to let it grow and do its thing. It's like with our children, we send them off to kindergarten.
Yeah.
It's sending it out, allowing it to grow and to flourish. You keep it tied down with your apron strings, it would never will grow.
Yeah, because it's the movement that moves it forward. Like if you start to take some movements, take some action. I always say start before you're ready. Like start before you're ready, because if you're going to wait for it to be perfect, you're never going to get anywhere. You're never going to get it.
It'll never happen.
It'll never happen. So just get started. Start.
Yeah.
And that's how we manifest, is having some aligned action and taking some movement. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think with that, this would be a great time to break for our next commercial. And we're a little early. Hopefully we can still do that. I don't want to jump into the next thought.
Why do 98% of beauty enthusiasts rave about coolness? It's all in the blend of ancient wisdom and modern science. Introducing Coolness, Pearlescent Face and Eye Serum Cream. This powerhouse combines the antioxidative power of schisandra berries, the glow of pearl powder, and the hydrating wonders of dragon's blood extract. It's like a time machine for your skin, making it radiant, firm, and oh so smooth. Inspired by ancient Chinese traditions and backed by modern nutritional science, this serum cream is perfect for dry, mature, and aging skin. It's time to unlock your inner glow with Coolness. Treat your skin to the best of both worlds today.
And we're back with manifestation coach Candace McKim with the Chronic Health
Hi.
Collective. Hey. Okay. So we've talked a lot about this whole manifestation process. And I think that one of the things that needs to be shifted is looking at what we achieve versus who you are. So that shifting, not being doing, but actually respecting who you are in this situation. So how do we shift from chasing the outcome to embodying our future self now?
Well, it's almost like acting as if, right? Like if I had a multi-million-dollar business, how would I behave? How would I act? So I always ask the question, who do you need to be to do what you want to do? And, it's like, when I ask that question, I hear a lot of, well, I need to be more confident. I need to have, I need to be more sure of myself, which is the same thing as confidence, right? I need to be, I need to, put myself out there. Again, more confidence. I need to be more visible. I need to speak up. And a lot of it is really stepping into that, who you really are at your core. And why would we wait to have $1 million business or multi-million-dollar business? Like, why would we wait to be that person, right? Like it's really is about becoming who you want to be now. Like, who do you want to be? And let's be her, right? So it's really checking in with your values. Like, obviously I had a yoga studio for 17 years. My top value is yoga. And people go, well, how can that be a value? Well, to me, yoga is, it's diet, it's meditation, it's exercise and movement, it's breath work, it's getting proper sleep, it's using affirmations, it's connecting to source energy and spirit. It's all of those things. That's what yoga is, right? It's yoking together body, mind, and spirit. The word yoga translates to yoking body, mind, spirit. And so that to me is my top value. So who do I want to be? I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be a businesswoman. I want to be successful. I want, right? So I start to be her now and live from that place. And instead of stop chasing and start being, we go into imposter syndrome so much, right? And it's like the number one killer of our dreams. And it's like, well, there's no competition, right? There's enough for everybody. And if you
Absolutely.
really believe that in your soul, like there's a lot of people who are enlightened and, in this business and spiritual, but they still feel that level of competition. And I'm like, no. And like, I just believe it in my core that there is no competition at all. Right? It's just, we're all doing our thing and the right people are going to be attracted to us. So, and so keeping to move forward with it and really embodying who we are. And that is what sells, is who we are at our soul, at our core. That's what sells, not your offer.
No, definitely not. That authentic person, when you're coming from your heart and you're bringing everything that you have. And and what does it mean when you say the milestones are a reflection of your identity shifts? I was listening to a reel or video somewhere, it was a short, that we aren't shifting our identity as much as we're shedding what's been thrown on us, that we come in, and this might be more keys to my philosophy, but we come in and then there are so many things that we take on that are given to us that imprint us, that don't really allow us to be who we really are. And I think that that's the identity shift, is moving back to who we're meant to be and being that multi-million-dollar business owner.
Yeah, because going back to our families, right? We're born into that culture and those beliefs. And so when we go and we visit our family again, we often will revert back to what they see, how they see us. And we're like I moved away, right? When I was 32 years old, I moved out of the city where I lived and I grew up and my family was. And every time I came back, I'd be like, oh, I thought I had changed. And here I am, right? And then I go back but they don't know who I really am because they don't see me in my own environment. And they would come to visit and I would revert back to that. So it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of practice to really embody the new you and who you are. And it takes practice to find your voice and to speak up and to stand a little bit taller and to, share your ideas and your new beliefs, right? That maybe don't in complete alignment with your families, and holding your own. And it takes a lot of practice. It did for me.
And it was a lot of courage. I found it was that courage too. And I remember the first time that I said to someone that, they're like, oh, so you're not doing such and such job anymore. It's like, no. Well, what are you doing? Well, I'm an intuitive healer. And they were like, oh, okay. And it was like, oh, I said it and I did not get struck down by lightning or anything. And it just gets easier when you have that courage and you practice stepping forward and stepping into that future you so that you can be there.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean we don't revert. I remember, I had a yoga studio for 17 years. I, written a book, did cards, did a TEDx talk and an intuitive coach, all of the stuff. Right. And then somebody said to me, oh, so what do you do? I'm a yoga teacher.
It is. It's hard. And when you had the yoga studio, you were selling yoga classes. Before at one time I was doing graphic design and promotional marketing. I could sell products, and to this day, I can sell you any product I think you need. But when we move into this adventure as spiritual healers, we are selling ourselves, Our
Mm.
services are selling who we are and what we are doing. We don't have a product to stand behind, to sell. And that's a big shift for spiritual entrepreneurs, is, selling.
Yeah, so when I had my yoga studio, I was selling yoga classes, but I also had workshops. I did a lot of workshops,
Mhm.
did a lot of trainings, and then I also did healing work there as well. So I had an
Right.
office to see my clients and stuff. So I did chakra balancing, and yeah. So when I had my studio, before that, I had been a yoga, and even to say I'm a yoga teacher was like I took yoga therapy. Like I like it was a 2-year program at the time, right? And it was just we minimalize ourselves. We
We
minimalize our accomplishments. We minimalize our milestones that we have accomplished, and we just move on to the next thing. And this is one of the detriments, I think, is we're always like moving ahead instead of looking back, right? And look what I've done. And that was one of the beauties of writing my book, is I got a chance to take a look at all that I've done, right? And everybody has. We've all had lifetimes of accomplishments. And so when we can take a look and really identify and see all of the accomplishments that you have had along the way, like I look at accomplishments of having, children, and, leaving a marriage that wasn't supportive, and, being a single mom for a while with 2 kids, and then stepping into a new relationship as a single mom with 2 kids. And, I worked as a social worker, and, like all of those, and then having a 3rd baby and bringing the family together, like all those are like so many milestones along the way. And when we can see all that we've accomplished, we know we can keep moving into the new milestones.
Mhm.
We know that. And I'm saying this for every listener. It doesn't mean you have to write a book or do TED Talks or even run a business. I'm saying, like, take a look at all of the milestones that you've accomplished along the way as proof that you're amazing, that you are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and celebrate each and every one of those. And
Mhm.
some of those milestones happen on a moment to moment basis, and other ones are accumulations of months or years of work, but you've accomplished it. So yeah, take credit for all of it.
Yeah.
And and have the gratitude for anyone that helped you along the way,
Mhm.
even if it was just standing out of your way, was
Yeah.
helping you. And
Yeah.
so
Like I was
that,
talking about my other client, Jade, who said, I wasn't sure I was going to feed my kids, but I knew I needed to work with you to get going. And she manifested 42K in the first month. Like, so it's like, okay, let's just keep going and celebrating all of the milestones and becoming it, embodying that, because
yeah.
that's the key to it, really. That's a trick, is to really embody all of the accomplishments.
Yeah, and I
And
think that goes along with, yeah, aligning into your future self
Mhm.
before it's there. And when we do this successfully, when we align with how our big milestone will feel, maybe that's why it doesn't feel like it's such a thing, because we've been living it. And then
Yes.
we look back and say, "Oh, it is here. I am doing this. I'm rocking it."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I don't know about you, but when my book came out, by the time my book came out, I was on to my next stuff,
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, it went to the publisher. It's like it got released, and it's like, okay, what's next?
Well, I was at my book signing. I had my book signing. I had like a book tour planned, and I was like, as soon as that was done, I was like, I'm on to the next thing. Like I was teaching a retreat, and it's like I barely took a moment to even celebrate it, but I had celebrated it all along. And
Right.
so by the time it came out, I was almost bored with it. It's like, let's move on.
And that's the thing is once I remember once being a little sassy to a friend of the family that's a wealth advisor, and they're like, business plan. I'm like, well, what happens if you meet your business plan in October and your business plan goes, do you just stop for the year? And you don't. You keep going, and you always have another plan and another a goal to strive toward, and the people who keep you in alignment with that, being there with you and allowing your circles to change as you grow inside them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So a funky question for you.
Okay.
If you could write a fortune cookie that every spiritual entrepreneur opens this week, what would it say?
Ah, it would say, it would say, there is no way that you have worked this hard and done so much that amazing things aren't on their way to you right this moment.
Awesome. Awesome.
That's what I would say.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. And so, how can folks connect with you to work with you and get in alignment and clear up that energy to achieve their biggest manifestations yet?
So my website, CandaceMcKim.com, CandaceMckim.com. And as soon as you click onto my website, you're going to see Realign with Your Vision. It's a 4-part video series. You can get that for free. And that will help you to start clearing out where you may be stuck and help you to start to get in alignment with what it is that you want, and then start to open to receiving. That's another part of it, is being open to receiving. So that's the 4-part video series. And then also you can email me at info@CandaceMcKim.com or on all of the social media platforms. I'm on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and they're all under Candace McKim.
Awesome. It's nice to keeping it simple, keeping it consistent.
Yeah.
So, all right. So if today's episode spoke to you, you don't have to go it alone. Book your free consult with one of our expert coaches at Chronic Health Collective for personalized support. Subscribe to our monthly magazine for expert tips from all 14 coaches to elevate your health, your mindset, and your relationships. Catch us live here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time, or watch past episodes on E360 TV or youtube.com/@Chronic Health Collective. Thanks for tuning in. Your transformation starts now. We'll see you next week.